time to strap in and get ready.
The leaders in NRL SuperCoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Metrics, and Whisperer.
G'day everybody, welcome back to the Insight NRL Show, episode 3 of 2025. We're right into it now. You would have seen Whisperer and Matrix's teams, and my one is up. So boys, Matrix, you first. What do you reckon you're going to see that's a little bit different on my team compared to your two?
Oh, your mug is a bit different from mine and Josh's beautiful face, for starters.
That's right.
But I'm expecting a West Tigers winger. I don't know why. I'm just expecting it.
Okay, what do you reckon, Josh?
Bit of Jarrell Skelton. That could be hot. No, I'm expecting David Clemmer, Justin Olam, Adam Dewey. Is Aiden Caesar still getting around?
The disrespect to my intellect is fucking absolute full force right now. No, you won't see any of those, thankfully. But guys, before we show my team, please hit subscribe. Please hit like. Matrix is on the beers. He's down. I think he's, fourth beer now, because we've been doing these 3 back-to-back. So hopefully you're enjoying them.
Carry them.
Yeah, the quality might diminish slightly over the next 20, 30 minutes. We'll see how we go. But we'll bring my team up very soon. But hit subscribe and like. We would appreciate that if you'd support the show. And just so you don't miss any content coming up, we've got plenty on the way over the next 6 weeks before the season starts and Vegas kicks off. So make sure to stick around. And if you want a little bit more from us, you can sign up to Patreon. It's only $9.95 a month. That's all it'll cost you. You get full access to us, WhatsApp chats, articles that are going to be also... We're doing our draft boards as well, which is really exciting. So you're going to get our rankings of all 7 positions, in-depth write-ups as well. So we're excited to bring you that in the coming weeks. But let's rip in. Let's get my team up on the screen. And to kick things off, it's a little bit different up top, boys. You guys went double cheapy hooker, and I understand the reason for it. I get the reason why you would go double cheapy hooker to facilitate the rest of your squad, but I'm not.
Fuck, I love this.
There's one guy that I'm really high on at hooker this year, and it's Jeremy Marshall-King. He is 555K, so I've had to make some sacrifices down the rest of my squad, so we'll talk about them a little bit later. But I mean, when we look back at last year, right, there's a couple of things that stand out to me. First of all, JMK averaged 65 for the first 13 rounds. He outscored Harry Grant up until Origin last year. Now, obviously then from there, he had a couple of down weeks into an injury. So the injury-affected game obviously goes into his average. So, and then after the average, when he came back, he only averaged 35 for the rest of the season. So that's dragged his total season average down by 8 points. So initially, we're already getting an 8-point discount on Jeremy Marshall-King. So I'm pretty high on him. And also the fact that Wayne Bennett's left. For me, Wayne Bennett usually handcuffs his hookers. He likes his hookers passing off the ground, getting it into the first receiver's hands as quick as possible. Kind of doesn't like his hookers running too much either. And Jeremy Marshall-King is a great running hooker. So for me, I think there's massive upside there. I think we're getting him pretty cheap. I think he's priced at, 58? I reckon you could probably see anything between 65 to 68 next year. Josh, any agree, disagree?
68's probably pushing it for me, but I definitely am in the mid-60s. I really like him. I think if I'm not going Harry Grant, I would probably go JMK. I would save on Max Plath. The only concern with JMK obviously being Max Plath played so well at 9 for the back end of the season when JMK went down. Is there any danger of a minute split there? I don't think so, but you have to tread carefully. But yeah, I'm a huge JMK guy, and if you check out my pre-draft or my draft rankings over on Patreon, you'll see that I've ranked him quite nicely there as well. So I'm a big JMK guy.
Like it. Matrix, anything to add?
Yeah. So I squint and I look at your team, and I just see that you've added 555K Harry Grant. So,
look, that's awesome.
Yeah, look, nice.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love it. I hate spending up at hooker because I've never seen the upside. But I think if there was any upside to be had at hooker, it's with JMK. So, yeah, big fan of Benji's brother.
Yeah. Also, shout out to everybody who went Lussick and Levi to start the season last year. Just want to remind people of Lussick and Levi, because that wasn't a good time for anybody for the most part, unless you pivoted and got off early.
Levi was like second leading try scorer after a month.
Yeah, and then people held him too long and he turned to shit. So
I'm just going to add Brendan
Danny
Hands.
Levi of 35 points after
a try
75
and a
minutes.
line break.
No, he was on like 20 points.
Yeah,
And he just get a try. He end up on 50 every week without fail.
What a goat. Yeah, he absolutely bailed us out there to start the season. I did have Danny Levi to start the season, but anyway, I'm not doing it again. I don't like double cheapy hooker for that reason because it really fucked me. But in saying that, the flex allows it. So I understand why people are doing it this year when your lowest score does drop out. So cool. Let's move on. We won't talk about Sandon Smith. We'll only talk about the players you guys haven't spoken about to keep things nice and quick. Payne Haas, Terrell May, Rex Hunt, and Tom Amone up at front row forward. I'm not going to double on them, but I think we've got nearly all the same front row forwards. I think it's pretty cookie cutter, to be honest, but I don't think you need to outthink the room at front row forward. And I also don't want to spend any fucking trades at front row forward this year. I made way too many. We spoke on Josh's episode with his team reveal about the Jai Arrow and Spencer Leniu days. Oh, they were the days, weren't they, Josh?
Mate, Vegas was a disaster, honestly.
It was.
I lost 2 front row forwards in the space of 1 game, and I was cooked.
Wasn't a good time. I think you're locking in Haas and May as the front row forward 1 and 2, to be honest.
We've chatted about fight. We've chatted about front row forward. I see 2 little names here in brackets, 2RF. That's really intriguing me. Can we chat about those?
Let's go down. So, all right, let's talk about my 2RF. It's a little bit different to you boys. I've got, I think, 3 names in there that you guys haven't had. And one guy that we haven't even mentioned yet so far in all 3 of our team previews, and that's Kelma Tuolangi. So, stat on Kelma Tuolangi, in games over 70 minutes, let me read you the scores that he had in over 70 minutes last year. 57, 73, 80, 40, 63, 81. So in games over 70 minutes, he averaged 66 points per game. And I think what we've seen there is that I think it's fair to say he's probably got the left edge role to start the year. And from, I think, shout out to the Cumberland Throw, I think his username is on Instagram, who does all of the training day write-ups and stuff. You can go and follow him there. It's quality info if you're an Eels fan or you want to know what's going on there. He's been apparently there's been some houses that have been trained down over in Parramatta as well with Kelma Tuolangi. So for me, I like the upside there. And at $430K, it's so fucking cheap for a guy that can average. I'm not expecting him to get up to 66 points per game, but I would love to see maybe mid-50s. And that's like more than 10 points of value for me. So I like it. And I think now that they're using Sean Lane and Ryan Madison as middle impact off the bench, I think there's less maybe job security risk. Matrix, any thoughts on Tuolangi, considering we haven't spoken about him?
Congratulations. You just added Sean Lane from last year, and that was disappointing. Great. I'm glad you didn't learn because, like, you've still got Ryan Madison, you've still got Bryce Cartwright, right?
Yeah, Ryan Madison will probably be off the bench as he was last year.
I think Ryan Madison's days on the edge are dead, if we're going to be like truthful. I think
100%.
he's
a middle forward.
Is the main one, but yeah, it's going to be interesting because they're going to have a weird bench. So they're going to have, I would imagine, Offa Hangawi and Junior Polis starting in the middle.
Probably,
and then you've got Jack Williams, who has been trending down every house by the sounds of it. Matto and Sean Lane probably rounds out that, bench rotation with whoever, whether they run a 14 or whether they just play Brendan Hands for 80 minutes. That's an interesting question. What do we do round 1 if we see no utility?
You have to buy Brendan Hands.
I don't want to, but we have to.
Yeah. And I'll free up 200K.
I do like
down to Brendan Hands.
If Lane is playing, strictly through the middle, 80-minute back row, I mean, I'm keen on Alex Seyfarth. And it's probably much of a muchness. It's probably just control C, control V between the two of those. So, and Tuolangi offers probably more upside. So I actually don't hate it. I actually really don't hate it.
I mean, I'm a numbers guy, and I think looking at the numbers from last year and the opportunity he got, he obviously played well. He found the line pretty consistently as well. So he ended up getting injured just as I bought him last year. So that shout out to Kelma Tuolangi. He actually owes me this year. So that's why I'm picking him.
Sorry, quote unquote, he's due.
Yeah, that's the first he's due for the season.
It's good to see that you two boys are repping former Tigers legends in John Bateman and Kelma Tuolangi.
Yes. Well, I don't have John Bateman in my team.
But Matrix does. So I need to get some.
But I've got John Bateman going to a good team, not Kelma Tuolangi going to a team that was equally as fucking bad.
I think they'll be better this year. I think obviously with Moses out and, the injuries and all that going on at the Eels, I think there was a lot of inconsistency there. Coaching changeover mid-season is never good. Jason Riles now has his opportunity to kind of mold this team and have a full preseason with them. So I see the Eels definitely improving. Tuolangi in my team. Now, Aaron Clark is the other guy. And Matty, I think you mentioned him a total of about 7 times in your team and you don't even fucking own him. So you're a fraud. But
I didn't know you had him. I would have shut up if you'd DM me this shit.
No, look, I mean, the reason he's there is clearly because Tohu Harris has retired. So it's pretty simple. It's just it's a minutes game really there. And I'd probably see Aaron Clark and Dylan Walker splitting the 13 minutes. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. Or it depends. I mean, you have to factor in the 10 minutes that Wade Egan's going to be off the field for his compulsory HIA.
I think 50-30 is fair, and I think Aaron Clark gets the 50 because Dylan Walker's always been that impact guy.
We flash back to last year. I think I was actually pretty keen on Aaron Clark midway through the season for the Titans, and that was when he had a sort of inconsistent role. So him playing, hopefully a lockdown role at 13, 391K price at about 37. He's pushing 50 points, nearly a 1 ppm. Like that would be great. Even just unders is fine for the early parts of the season.
I think even last year, he played all 24 games last year for the Titans as well, which is the first time he's got through a full season. So, hopefully for preseason, more opportunity, 40-minute guy from last year at 1 ppm. I'd like to think that even if his ppm takes a little bit of a backward step, but he gets the extra minutes, I think we're probably looking at least a minimum of a probably 5 to 8 point bump if he gets the minutes.
I've just noticed something pretty peculiar. If you would care to flick to my share screen, Mr. Brain. We have Matrix, who spent probably 75% of his podcast talking about how good Aaron Clark's going to be. I'm just seeing a little a comment here from SC_Matrix saying my post on pumping up Aaron Clark was bait.
No, hold on.
Do you have any comments, you fucking fraud?
Mate, so I've said that's bait on about 3 of your posts, and it was all after some guy gave you an absolute spray about the fact that just posting in January was clickbait. So I thought I would lean into that, and just every one of your posts that come through, I was just going to say that it was clickbait because you were thinking about NRL. But they don't call him the fantasy whisperer. They don't call him the NFL sleeper whisperer. They call him the SuperCoach whisperer, and you've been onto it since December.
No, I'm just. Thanks for the kind words. That's just not going to get you out of the corner that you backed yourself in with this monstrosity right here.
Look, the reality is he's in my team.
I just need to put our esteemed co-host on blast for 5 minutes. That was all.
I don't blame you. And you know what? He's in my team, and I didn't see him in either of yours. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like, and whether you guys want to hop on the Aaron Clark to the moon bandwagon.
I might have to see if I can cash in my Pia Cora Express tickets at the terminal and exchange them for some Aaron Clark currency.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
There's every chance that Pia Cora is a fraud and his base is shit. Conversation is going to come up in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, and he's going to be out. So.
It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious because, I was very, very smug last year when he shit the bed, and if he shits the bed again this year, it's going to be the opposite. Everyone's going to be absolutely witch hunting me.
That's all right. That's part of the fun. But yeah, Aaron Clark's there for that. For that reason, also, I love the dual. I love having the front row forward dual in my 2RF. I've got a couple of them at the moment. I just don't have the dual in my front row forward, so that might be a restructure that I look at, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Naf White there, don't need to touch on him. You guys already have. I think he's a really solid pick this year for obvious reasons. Now, the horse, Big Red, Corey Horsburgh, is in my team. Got to mention a little bit throughout the last couple of podcasts, but Corey Horsburgh, he seems to, I don't know, boys, had a bit of a falling out with old Ricky Stewart from as far as I'm aware. Obviously, going from his 62 average in 2023, played nearly all the games, Jewel, one of the most owned players, I think, in NRL SuperCoach in 2023. Absolute revelation. If you didn't have him, you probably weren't in the top 1,000. So he's gone from 62 average in 22 games to a 45 average in 5 games after this falling out with Sticky, where he basically played reserve grade for the main part of the year. Now, we obviously saw a 59 and a 68 at the end of last year in 51 minutes, and he just reminded us that he's still at that level and he can still do what he does. Josh, I don't know whether I'm putting you. Actually, I don't even need to put you on the spot. You're so well prepared. He's looking incredibly lean,
mate.
isn't he?
Look at here. You can't really move my head, but like you can see, Corey looks lean, and I'm calling. Where is it? Have I put it here? Origin recall on the cards for the horse.
That's huge.
That's huge. So more SC Whisperer propaganda here. Where is it? So I had a little bit of a training report coming through, and I didn't include it in here because I didn't have the full report in front of me. But Corey Horsburgh did start in front of Papali'i in that opposed session as well. Mate, unreal. Like it seems like he wanted to leave. Ricky was like, no. And Corey was like, let me leave. And Ricky was like, no. And then they kissed and made up. And then Corey Horsburgh was great. Do we remember his little grubber at the back end of last year?
Yes. That was the fucking best. That was so good. Don't you love it when you see a big bopper fucking put a little grubber through and retake it and score? It's one of the best things ever.
But I love, where is it? I do love looking at him. He looks really good, looks really fit. And at 365k, if he's starting, absolutely can.
He's obviously got a point to prove too. You don't go from being one of the best players and one of the best props in the league, to be fair, or locks or wherever he played. I think he rotated through both positions. To being out of the team completely, it just doesn't make a lot of sense unless obviously there's a Barney in the background there. So,
do you think there's cause for him to play a bit of 13 as well? I know that Ricky relied heavily on Morgan Smithies last year, but Morgan Smithies is as flavorful as a plain bit of bread. Like Corey can come in, like you're not losing much. If Corey's fit, you're not losing much by taking Smithies off and putting Corey Horsburgh on for a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
I expect the first interchange to not be Joe Tarpany. Like it's probably going to be Josh Papali'i coming on for Horsburgh. But I could see a world where Horsburgh comes back on and plays a bit of lock.
Absolutely, 100%. It's kind of, you got Morgan Smithies there. You know he's going to do a job, right? But he's just like your plain crisps, just original flavor, sea salt. But then you've got Corey Horsburgh.
Not even the thin crust. It's the crinkle cut, like the most mediocre kind.
Yeah, and then you've got Corey Horsburgh sitting there, the sweet chili grain waves. Corey Horsburgh sitting there that can do so much more for you.
I would argue Corey Horsburgh is more of a barbecue Sam boy.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of guy.
I was trying to get sweet chili as in like red kind of.
Well, that's I mean, Sam boy, the barbecue ones are also red, but I'm thinking like cheap price, kind of nasty. But
we do rough around the edges. Yeah, they do the job. Exactly. Anyway, we've talked enough about sweet chili grain waves, Corey Horsburgh, but I think I'm pretty high on him. I think, and look, at 355k for a guy who has had a season average in the last 2 years of 62 across a full season at the same team, I think it's more a matter of monitoring what that relationship with Ricky Stewart looks like rather than ability. But
yeah, I'm not at 62. I'm more 53, 54.
Yeah, I was going to say that's first half of 50. Yeah,
that's still great value.
100%. That's why he's there. So he's on the bench for me at the moment. I have played around with a couple of different iterations of my team where Corey Horsburgh has been up at the front row on the bench. But that means that I wouldn't have been able to facilitate a couple of these other moves. So
if we get all these guys, if we get Naf White, if we get Aaron Clark, we get Corey Horsburgh, are you ever shifting off Payne Haas?
Yes.
You would 100%. You would remove Payne Haas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had the team before I went back to Payne Haas, because I like the structure a little bit more. It's solid, but I have had a team pick a team without Payne Haas in it and Naf White at front row forward too. So nice. I don't mind playing around with that team, and then it gives you a bit more flexibility and more cash to spend down the bottom here. But I do have Hetherington for the reason of the Carrigan conversation around potentially moving to prop and the Madge stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. I like him if he starts at 13. And Vermaelga for the Warriors. It used to be Sifakula. I think he had a surname change. So for anybody who hasn't recognized his name, Dimitri Sifakula has changed his name to Vermaelga, I think it is. So sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. Nathan Cleary at halfback, pretty obvious. We can probably move through these pretty quickly, but you guys haven't had Tom Duffy, and I do. So I don't know how much I love it just yet, because it puts me in a situation with this team where I've only got 27,400 in the bank. So I don't really have anywhere to go from Tom Duffy if he doesn't get named. So I'm probably looking at maybe trying to restructure what this looks like so that I'm not in that situation having to try and find money and rip my whole team apart to get rid of Tom Duffy. But I think you're pretty spot on, Matrix, in your team with Dodd. I think he's the guy that I would go to next. Or potentially a Jack Cogger, maybe a little bit more expensive. A Jack Cogger, I don't mind that option at Newcastle if he's named. as well.
I think we all start with Duffy if he's named round 1. But for me, it was I didn't want to handcuff myself into having to downgrade if he's not named. So I just wanted to give myself a bit of flexibility. And if he is named, then fantastic. We can downgrade and get a guy in. But yeah, was pictured wearing number 7 during some media day stuff. And then the next day came out that Jake Clifford had underwent hernia removal and is touch and go for round 1. So be interesting. And Duffy's an elite goal kicker too. Todd Payton spoke very highly on Duffy's goal kicking ability and his ability to be a game manager. So you would expect to probably free up Tom Dearden a bit as well.
My only concern is if Clifford is touch and go for round 1, that creates that question mark of does Duffy play 1 or 2 games, not get a price rise, and then Clifford comes in. So yeah, there's a fair bit of risk with that. So we'll keep an eye out. But at the moment, he's more of a, what do they call it in the FPL land, Josh? Enabler.
An enabler, yes. An enabler.
Yeah, an enabler for the rest of my team. 5'8" are Jerome Luai and Luke Metcalf. I don't think we need to explain that unless Matrick wants to talk about Luke Metcalf again, but I don't know whether we need the extra.
Have you ever listened to the song Jesus Walks by Kanye? Just in case.
To be fair, I didn't make the joke last episode, but I might make it this one. You mentioned Kanye West singing Jesus Walks by Luke Metcalf, and then you said Keys to the City for Jerome Luai. I guess you could say he might run this town. So to speak.
Oh, wow. You've chipped in. You're not even a dad and you've chipped in with a dad joke. That's well played. I'll give it to you. Look what we've done. Look what we've turned him into in 1 year of podcasting. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Let's move to my center wing. A little bit different. A couple of different options to you guys. I've got Dylan Lucas for the same reasons Matrix does. I'm really high on Dylan Lucas this year. We've got the 55 BP. Having that stability, I think we talked about that already in your team, Matty. I guess the only other thing to add, 50% of his games he went above 60, and I think having that stability at center wing is massive. If I'm going to go and take another few risks at center wing with some other maybe higher upside picks, if you've got stability there, and I do, in Campbell Graham's going to be solid as well. He's a high BP guy when he's on. Jack Bird will play 13 for the most part, and if he's not playing 13, I'm probably not picking him. So at the moment, my center wing is kind of low upside, but really consistent and solid and reliable at the moment. So we'll see what that looks like.
Weird.
Yeah. I might take my risks elsewhere, but Casey McLean is a guy we haven't spoken about yet either, and it looks like he is. I mean, I'm not going to say locked in, but the favourite to take the Sania Taruva wing position for the Penrith Panthers.
I'll give you a tip. I'll give you a tip. McLean's going to be named round 1.
Is it Jesse? Or is it Casey? That's the question.
McLean's getting named round 1. Let's just leave that. No, in all seriousness, Jesse was the favourite last year, but suffered that injury, and then Casey, took his chance there. So plan for Casey if you can. Plan for Casey. Downgrade to Jesse if he's named.
Spot on. I agree with that. Then it'll free up some cash, and then I can probably get to Dodd. So I wouldn't be upset with that, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, if you're getting a winger at 400K, we're talking about Taylor May vibes from. When was it last year? So hopefully not off-season Taylor, off the field Taylor May vibes.
You're saying that Casey ends up in Super League by middle of the season?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I can't believe you didn't say rehab.
No, it's because we're a PG. Oh no, actually, we're not PG.
I was going to say I'm going to get paid this season, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, YouTube. I rate you.
No, but look, when you can get a 440K winger from Penrith, I think you've got to take it for the most part. I think that it'll be interesting to see what the teething issues are like without Luai and how that all plays out early on. But I think it's too good to say no to a 400K winger at Panthers. With the season that McLean had as well, like you can't just say because he's on the Panthers, he's a good option. Like he was a quality player as well last year for the most part. He had a really, really good season. So definitely someone that I'll be looking at round 1. Campbell Graham, we spoke about him a little bit as well. For a guy who averaged 69 and had 57% of his games above 60, you pair that with Lucas, you pair that with Jack Bird. Casey McLean was a guy that could also find his base. Your floor there is really high. It's just, where is the upside there? That's probably the question mark. I'm probably looking at maybe trying to find one really kind of high upside rocks or diamonds, maybe a pod play in the center wing. And I know there's plenty of them. So stay tuned on the Patreon. You'll find out what my team looks like throughout the season. But my bench looks the same, boys. Oh, fucking hell.
Hang on. I know we haven't got the fullbacks yet. I didn't expect to see Ryan Pappenhausen featured twice this episode, but we'll get to that. Sorry, I was a little bit taken aback because the bench is copy and paste.
It's good value, bro.
The bench is copy and paste. I think I'm maybe one stronger than you guys. You had 200, sub 300 guys. I got Billy Smith on my bench. It just feels a little bit more solid. But Billy Smith could easily be a 550k guy if he can stay on the park. That's the big.
He could be Tupou. He could be Tupou's price. To be honest,
what I'm hoping for is he gets to 440k, and then if he gets injured, we can just buy Nwanga Tuaze. So it's like,
yep,
amazing, best of both worlds. Let's hope we get a month out of Billy Smith at least.
And we don't wish injury upon anybody, by the way. But if it does,
of course,
if it does happen fall in our lap, we won't say no. Fair enough. Go on.
I actually hope that we just get what's his name in the centers from the Titans from Rugby
Carter
Union.
Gordon.
Yeah, Carter Gordon.
Carter Gordon.
If we get him, like, a lot of our question marks just get answered. We add him straight away. I've been watching his highlights. I've been watching him play. I can't see a world where he doesn't get selected round one.
No,
but I just think that there's a lot of question marks
round
there
two.
up at Gold
I don't know
Coast.
why.
Round two.
And we'll touch on this like later. It's not the episode, but like, I don't know, man. I don't get AJ Brimson. I don't understand the Brim.
No,
He's not
Haslam.
wrong, but
I don't really get
it.
I don't. But let's chat fullbacks because there is one man, Mr. Brain, that look, I am a very, I guess, outspoken Supercoach creator. I like giving opinions. I don't like sitting on the fence. And I'm very, very glad to see that the Supercoach NRL official Instagram account has started to throw out some predictions. But I can't get behind a bit of this. A bit of Latrell Mitchell with a big no-go slip on there. Also, I can't get behind this either, a bit of Jay Luai. But Latrell Mitchell.
Hang on. Can I ask a question before we do this? Matrix, have you hopped on this and done the gift? That's bait.
No,
You've done it to Josh, but you haven't done it to Supercoach. I think they deserve it for this.
That's because Josh he deserves my publicity from me commenting. Whatever the fuck this is, deserves 10 in the bin. I tell you what, 6 again.
I'm actually like so glad that Supercoach have taken their social media game more seriously, and we know a few of the people behind the scenes that do it, and shout out to them, they do a great job. But I can't get behind this.
They do a job.
I can't share more than one screen, but I made a really good pun with that photo of Latrell when he was looking lean. I do think I have it on my profile, and instead of putting Trell Mitt, being the very creative genius I am, I put Trell Fit. I thought that was a really good one, and now I can't even find the photo. So
I hope you read my Patreon article because I actually put him.
Did you steal that? Nice.
Yeah, he put Trell Fit.
Nice. Okay, I didn't upload it, but it's on my Twitter. So
Latrell Fitchell.
Yeah. Latrell Fitchell. I do like that, but yeah, you can go back to your team now. I just wanted to put Supercoach NRL on blast for the no-go zone of Latrell Mitchell.
I mean, Latrell. Hang on, let me just bring this up because I don't have it. I'm very underprepared. But if I quickly search Latrell Mitchell in NRL SC stats, which is where we pretty much get most of our info, shout out to them.
Yeah, good.
89 season average last year, but it's the percentage of games above 60 points.
Someone has a really good graphic on that SC Brain. If you want to flick back to our second screen,
did Matrix put a really good graphic up?
Oh yeah. No, of course not.
They're pretty, man. My graphics, thanks.
Brain's little camera is just cutting off the top part, but this is the 60% clubhouse. This is percentage of games over 60 points, and there is one man clear of the top, and he played half a season. It was a pretty decent sample size. He gets very disrespected, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. There was one game. It was a 36 that he scored in round 3. And, of course, in round 3, everybody's looking at the bubble and getting a bit itchy. The trade fingers are fucking getting ready to send anybody on their way after round 3 that isn't cutting the mustard, so to speak. And, Latrell Mitchell was on everybody's bad books. But then from there, he's gone 69, 73, 70, 107, 86, 150, 80, 113. And, yeah, he was on and off the park. He didn't finish the year last year, unfortunately. But, you look at how fit he is. You got Wayne Bennett coming back. That's always going to be a positive for Latrell. A bit of discipline in his life and in his game, I think, will do him the world of good. 91% of games above 60, there's this narrative floating around that Latrell's hot and cold, and he inserts himself into games. He's lazy and all this stuff. And sometimes he gets perceived to be lazy, and he is walking around the ruck with his hands on his shoulders. But he can afford to do that.
I've never seen a player cop so much criticism. And don't get me wrong, when he's a grub on the field, I'll criticize him to the nth degree. But from a Supercoach standard, he is and always was and probably will be elite. I'm a little bit fed up with this narrative of him being lazy. He also fits 3 major categories. He fits the stats, which we've just seen. He fits vibes.
Oh, vibes.
Of course, he fits vibes. And he also fits narrative, which is another key component of picking your team. It's a great narrative. So he ticks all 3 boxes. But no, I did have a bone to pick with the Latrell Mitchell like lazy thing. And he does play 2 elite first games.
I know you guys are Tigers fans, but like I have a look at that night schedules and they play Tigers twice in the first 6 weeks. And
the night schedule is probably one of the best draws in the comp to start the season.
And like I look at Ponga over somebody like Latrell Mitchell, and I'm more excited about that. Seeing Penrith and Sydney and the Cowboys, followed by the Bulldogs and Melbourne, and like I know we're probably ticky-tackying on Braino's podcast here, but I look at Ponga for that, and I'm like, well, I can save myself $100K and just
if
get.
Ponga had anyone that wasn't Fletcher Sharp and Tyson Gamble, I wouldn't buy it.
That's exactly why he's not there for me. That's exactly the only reason he is not in my team right now is because of the halves. And if we get news that Jack Cogger is there,
give me 100%.
Honestly, it can be Cogger and fucking Sharp. I don't care. Just not Tyson Gamble in the halves, and I would probably even consider it a little bit more. But Trell's that guy. You know, it doesn't matter who he's playing. He's fixture proof. He can score 100 against any team in the competition. I don't care if he's a 950K. I'd buy him to start the year. And 866 is unders.
And like I said, we spoke about this in my team reveal. If Longy is unreal for the first 2 games, amazing.
Yep.
Fantastic. Because I've just saved myself 700K.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now you've got 650K to spend wherever you like. It's going to be a spending spree. Imagine what you can do to your squad with that extra cash.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful.
You can get Tamale to Carter Gordon.
And the rest. Yeah. And the rest. But guys, that's my team. So obviously we talked about Pappy a little bit already. That's the reasoning. I am a little bit nervous, I must admit, about the round 2 bye. Again, I'm not picking Titans players because they're on the bye in round 1. Having a bye round 2 isn't ideal, and that's probably why I've leaned away from Stefano at front row forward. Definitely Harry Grant's less appeal for me with his round 2 bye. But I think just the price on Pappy and the ceiling on Pappy is too good to say no to. And then I can just kind of slot in another one. I feel like my team's a little bit deeper. I feel like Billy Smith on the bench gives me that a little bit of extra depth there. I've gone with a lot of mid-ranges in the 2RF, and I won't need to reserve them all, but I'd be happy to reserve Hetherington, obviously, if the role is there. And then my boy Rex Hunt, I'd be happy to take a punt on him as well. And obviously Sandon Smith's playable for the most part because he'll have the goal kicking, right, for the first how long? How long's Walker out?
10, 11 weeks probably.
10 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. So
I do notice a lack of Luciano Leilua in a lot of these.
Shout out to the ChatGPT best 17.
What a pull. To be fair, it said he was playing at the Dolphins under Wayne Bennett, so I had to.
Good.
It also said Joey Manu would be in the team of the season.
Good.
Yeah. So a couple of good ones, but no Luciano.
Is there any player? Because I've got one. Is there any player that you thought would feature in one of the other guys' teams? Because we didn't DM each other our teams or anything before the podcast.
No.
Is there anybody that you thought would pop up that didn't?
I'm surprised to see Pappenhausen in Brain's team. No, I'm not surprised to see it in your team because you're much more of a vibes manager, Matrix. But like Brain's very analytical. I am surprised to see Pappy in Brain's team. I'm surprised to see Kelmer, but I do like it.
Let me tell you the reason why I've got Pappy, right? It's because I wanted Payne Haas and I wanted Dylan Lucas, and I couldn't make everything else work. Honestly, and the other way that I could do this would be Jerome Luai goes down to Cogger or something, and I can get up to a Ponga or I can get up to whoever I need to. But I needed the Luai vibes at the Tigers. I just needed something to cheer on this year.
No, in terms of people that I think you guys had, like I'm surprised to see Jeremy Marshall King, but I don't hate it. Like I do quite like it a lot. And as for Matrix, I'm
surprised no harm, Saleh.
Yeah, no harm, Saleh. But I'm surprised to see a bit of Dean Mariner and the narratives that you're trying to spin to get us on board. I'm very easily influenced, but I don't know.
The last iteration of his team that I saw had Deloise Hoyter in it, so he's gone from Hoyter across to Jesse.
Actually, I am surprised there is no B Moser in Mr. Matrix team.
Oh yeah.
What I'm most surprised with is why I asked that question.
Are you sure it's not down to your relationship with a former Broncos hooker and how close you guys are as friends?
No. Me and Corey Pakes are tight. But Vinafuiaki, I just expected him to be in more teams. I actually moved him out of my team because I thought, we're going to be talking about.
Is it because you couldn't say his name?
Wait, hang on. Is he? Have I realised that Vinafuiaki? Have we gotten 3 hours into this recording and I've realised that Vinafuiaki is not in my team?
He's not in anyone's team.
No, that's crazy. Okay, let me this far. He'll be in my team.
Yeah, look, I'm high on
what the hell.
Vinafuiaki. I think that he's going to be a great player. He just wasn't in my team because I had to downgrade at one stage because I went from Lewis Dodd to Nico Hines and I had to find bottom dollar guys. So Vinafuiaki, I think, is a guy that we should have discussed. Yeah. And at the Dolphins, I think that he's going to far exceed that 368K price.
Boys, it's our first live trade of the season, live trade on the pod. I realised I had Vinafuiaki, so Brendan Piacora.
He's already gone.
I'm just for now. I'm a big Colo fan. I'm a big Colo fan.
Hey, that's bait.
Yeah, I'm influencing everyone just to improve my rank. Just like when everyone thought I said that Ethan Strange was out, just so I could not play him and don't
get influenced by big podcasters.
No, that's right. Sorry, I cut you off.
So I'm gonna be back chatting shit.
It is nice. And you know what? We've got a bit of merch coming. We're going to get some shirts and some stuff done up for this year. We do talk a lot of shit on the podcast, and sometimes we come up with some stuff that is shirt worthy. So, Matrix has got his "It's not what you spend, it's what you save." You can get them. But we are going to get, I've been influenced by big podcasters, and that's going to be a shirt coming this year. We're going to design that one. It'll be out in probably 2 to 4 weeks, hopefully. Yeah, there's plenty more coming. It's going to be good. And if you want to get your crown hat,
if you sign up to be a Patreon member for the year, you get a crown hat. So
flex that crown hat's a fire. Just walking down the street and everybody knowing that you won SuperCoach this week.
It's as the kids say, having a crown hat is W-Riz.
Oh, fuck.
Aura. You have much aura. W-Riz aura.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
all right. That's probably a good.
I think we hit
I think I heard Madge said that at training actually to Reece Walsh.
Oh dear, guys, that will do. That's our teams. All 3 of our teams, they're done. So you've seen them all now. Now they go behind closed doors. All of our Patreon members will keep up to date with everything that's going on within our teams, our thoughts and our changes on players, all the news that's coming through, Q&As, and tons more exclusive stuff that we won't be putting on socials or on the podcast this year. So if you also want your questions answered on the podcast moving forward this year, become a Patreon member and we'll cover them as Matrix holds up the other 3 beers that he's had after the 4 beers he had before that. So we've had a good night. It's been a good one. It's been a good little debut for season 2025, and we've got plenty of content coming your way. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we will see you. We've got team previews coming up, I think, pretty soon. So we'll see you for them. Catch you later.
Cheerio.